Hello my old dear students, today again we are going to study the critical appreciation, okay. In this video we shall study of the critical appreciation of Break, Break, Break poem or elegy composed by Victorian poet Lord Alfred Tennyson. This question is very important and this is why that I am here with all these important headings. In the exam, you can take the help of all these different headings for your answer. The very first heading, right? The very first heading is you may have not introduction or Tennyson as a Victorian poet because you are going to appreciate critically this poem Break, Break, Break. So the very first heading will be Break, Break, Break as an elegy, or simply you can write an elegy. Break, Break, Break. This poem is an elegy that is a mourning song or a lament song. Means it is a personal elegy. Okay, it is not an impersonal elegy, but it is a personal elegy, and it was published in 1842. So in this heading you can tell, if you have time, if you want, in brief you can mention or you can tell the meaning of elegy. Simply that elegy is a mourning song or elegy is a lament, and Break, Break, Break is a personal elegy. Got? Then second one most important heading, autobiographical. Break, Break, Break is an autobiographical poem, or we can say that it is why it is a personal poem, because there is author Henry Hallam. Okay, author Henry Hallam had been the friend of Lord Alfred Tennyson, and in this poem he laments, he cries the premature death. He laments the premature death of his fast friend author Henry Hallam. And Henry Hallam, his death took place in 1833, right? Hallam died in 1833 and this poem was published in 1842. So this is why that this poem is an autobiographical poem, because of the death of, because there is a mention, there is a description of author Henry Hallam, and because of this Tennyson was compelled to compose this poem. Then third one is heart touching theme, no doubt, because this poem is based on the personal feelings, on the autobiographical note. So it is a very heart touching theme. It directly comes from the heart of the poet and it touches the heart of its readers, because there is a description of a loss of friend. Loss of friend, Tennyson, he had lost his friend Hallam, and his when do you find a heart touching theme? When you feel or when you find a content that you are going to lose forever your dear one, when you just miss someone, so that touches your heart, maybe dear one, maybe your relative, maybe your close ones. And in this poem, in this elegy, we find that our poet, he is crying at the loss of his friend. So no doubt that this poem is a heart touching poem, because it touches the heart of its readers. Then fourth one, you may have this heading, his intense grief. Grief of Tennyson, grief of poet, that has been presented or described very well in this poem in brief. And what his grief is, that there is no one to share or to feel his sadness or his feelings. Tennyson, he is very sad throughout the poem because of the loss of his fast friend, and there is an intensity of his grief in this poem we can feel very well. Tennyson, why he was so sad, why he was feeling so gloomy or melancholic, because he finds that there was no one to be shared his grief, and this is why that he comes in the lap of nature. So his intense grief, that is, there was no one to understand his pain, his inner pain. Subjectivity of the poet, how can you say that subjectivity of the poet in this poem? That is also another heading. Depends on you whether you have this one or that one or both. That is because there is a description of the personal feelings. In this poem, as I have told you that this poem is a personal elegy, not impersonal. So definitely we shall find here personal feelings of the poet. Means there is a subjectivity because he is crying for his dead friend. Now if we look at the content or the theme or the substance of this poem, you will find that when this elegy is started by Tennyson, he takes the help of nature. He goes to the sea beach and what he finds there. So there is a description, a beautiful description of sea waves. The sea waves, they rise, they fall, and they strike against the rocks or against the stones, means they break their waves of the sea. They are also personified here or they are also presented here as if they are also unhappy, as if they are also crying in the pain of Tennyson, means they are also very sad to hear or to listen to the grief or to the sorrow of poet, and how they are going to express themselves through striking against the stones or breaking their waves. So here Tennyson, when he starts this poem in the very first stanza, you can hear mention the quotation, you can hear mention the very first stanza also, because in the long question you must write the quotation. And the very first stanza, if you remind, was break, break, break on thy cold grey stones, O sea, and I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. So those lines can be mentioned here very well. And Tennyson, he felt that nature can understand very well your feelings. They can you can share your feelings with them and they can also express themselves. So here the sea waves, they are rising, they are falling, but it seems to Tennyson as if they are also sad in his sorrow. So we can say that sea or waves are personified here as a friend, because they are also unhappy, they are also very sad in the sorrow of poet. Then in the second stanza, what do you find? That this world is indifferent. Seventh one is indifferent world. Tennyson describes the general routine of this world. This world is completely untouched or indifferent, or it is not concerned with the sorrow, with the unhappiness, or with the matters of any other person. This world seems to Tennyson so selfish, so stone hearted, that he says that worldly life goes on, and routine of the world keeps going on. So this is why that he presents here the description of fisherman's boy and sailor's lad, presenting only the happiness of the world, the untouchedness of the world, that how much indifferent world is, because all are happy. Fisherman's boy is happy, sailor's boy or sailor's son is also happy, but if there is no anyone happy, that is only Tennyson, because Tennyson, he is missing this time his fast friend. So in the second stanza of this poem we find that when you laugh, the whole world laughs with you, but when you weep, when you cry, you weep completely alone. So it doesn't matter whether you are happy or you are unhappy, there the world, there makes no difference to this world. The world always remained untouched. When we say the world means here worldly people, they always remain untouched. So the next one is the splendid ship. Now the third one is stanza, when he says, and the stately ships go on to their heaven under the hill. This kind of content or this kind of theme has been used by Tennyson several times in his other poems also. The splendid ship or the stately ships, these words are very meaningful. They are very mysterious words, we can say. Oh, Oh, stately ship, just like a symbol, means symbolical words can be called, because splendid ship is here, that ship in the sea, they are coming, they are going, they are moving on very fast, and they are being loaded, they are being unloaded, means they are loading and they are also unloading, but they they are going and they are coming back. So what does it mean, the splendid ship? So here is a mention of the soul, human soul. Human soul keep coming to this world and keep going from this world. And what is loaded, what is unloaded in the ship? Ship, that is a symbol of human body, and that is loaded, that is loaded, that is only soul, human soul. And soul is very splendid or stately ships, ship that are being loaded by the soul. So here this heading or the stanza was very symbolical stanza. In brief, that all the people are going, they are coming, they are coming to this world, they are leaving this world, but there is going no difference to anyone. But author Henry Hallam was everything for Tennyson. So now it is not going to make any difference to him who is coming, who is going, which soul is leaving this world, which new soul is entering this world. So this is why that this heading is very meaningful. The third one is stanza. If you like, you can mention the quotation here, that and the stately ships go on to their heaven under the hill. That will be sufficient. Now his loneliness. Okay, another main point of this poem is his loneliness, Tennyson's loneliness or poet's loneliness. Now when the poet he looks around him, what he finds that all people are happy, routine is going on as usual, and world is also happy, worldly people are enjoying, the people they are playing and they are singing, means each and everything is going on in the world, but he is feeling himself very lonely, because he is friendless, because of the absence of his intimate friend. What he finds himself that he is very lonely, and his sadness because of his personal loss, because and why he is sad, another reason, that was indifferent world. Now there are two reasons with Tennyson to be sad. The very first reason is that he has lost everything, that was his friend, means that was his personal loss. And another reason of his sadness is that this world is completely untouched or indifferent, untouched by his sorrow, because he finds no one to be shared his sorrow. So there are two main reasons of his sadness. Now next one is helplessness of Tennyson. Now our poet in this poem, he looks very helpless. Why? The very first reason is that his heart is full of grief, his heart is full of sorrow, and there is no one to understand his sad feelings. There is no one to understand his loneliness, understand his sadness, and he as a poet himself is feeling unable to communicate his sorrow. Even through his poetic talent, he cannot express, he cannot communicate that how much grief this time he has in his heart. So in this poem we also find the Tennyson's helplessness and another helplessness before death, that it is not in his hand to take his friend back from death. So he is completely helpless. Now there is a contrast in this poem, contrast that both things go together, happiness and unhappiness, laughter and tears. Now Tennyson is unhappy, there are tears in his eyes. On the other hand, we find that this world is happy, there is a lot of laughter, people are singing, people are playing, they are very happy and enjoying their routine. So contrast goes together, that is the sadness and joy or sorrows. Now next one is If you like, you may have all these headings, but 10 will be sufficient. Highly emotional lyric. It is a poem. What kind of poem? It is an elegy, a personal elegy, and it is also a lyric because of its melody. Now it is highly emotional. Why it is highly emotional? Because Tennyson, he is feeling that at any cost he cannot take his friend back. And in the whole poem we find that how much he is missing Arthur Henry Hallam, and now his keen desire only and only for his friend. This time why he said what he wants back, only his friend, and nothing is looking to him joyful or delightful. So next important heading is pictorial quality. If you go through this short poem or this short lyric, you will find there are a lot of pictures, word pictures or photographic expressions you will find here. It seems as if the whole poem is packed with pictures. Means if you read this poem, you can draw a painting, you can make a beautiful picture only with the help of the given description that has been presented by Lord Alfred Tennyson. So through the stanzas, through the verse Tennyson used in this poem, we find that this world is so beautiful, this world is so pictorial, there is a lot of variation in this world, and we find different kinds of picture in this world that can be drawn, that can be presented very well, just like a painting. So in this short poem there are a lot of pictorial qualities. Repetition is a hallmark of elegy, and repetition in the very first stanza, break, right, and in the last stanza again break. So repetition of words also and repetition of sound also, and that makes this poem very attractive. Then beautiful images. Throughout the poem you found, as I have here mentioned, pictorial quality, and you find a lot of beautiful images. In the very first stanza, images of the sea waves breaking at the sea, images of, in the second stanza also images of fisherman's boy who was playing with his sister, and even the images of the sailor lad who was singing in his boat. So and the magnificent ship. So in this way there are so many beautiful images given by Tennyson. As it is a lyric, so it is very melodious in tone. There is a spontaneity of rhythm, and lyricism is here also. Rhyme scheme, you know very well that because it is a lyric, so there is also a rhyme scheme. A, B. Then next one, symbolical. It is a very symbolical poem or mysterious poem, because sea, ship, they have been presented here mysteriously. Sea is a symbol of the world, and ship is a symbol of human body, that is a physical body or soul. Next one is poetic diction. Poetic diction, Tennyson uses what kind of verse, what kind of diction, that is very economical, in the fewest words, right? Whatever he has to say, he says in the fewest words. So there is an economy in the use of verse, means every word by Tennyson is chosen, is selected, or is presented very carefully throughout the poem. And if you want, you can take the last one also, because when we come to the last stanza, we find that but the tender grace of a day that is dead will never come back to me. And oh, he says in the stanza third, but oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. So in those lines we find that somewhere Tennyson was feeling the power of death, the immortality, the eternity of death, that death is so powerful that it doesn't matter how much you cry, how much you shed tears, because no tear works in the court of death. Death is very callous, and it doesn't matter how much you request death or you pray death, but she Oh, he is never going to give you back your relative or your dear ones. So this is the power of death in break, break, break. So all these were important headings for exam.